takes a few seconds
It says
for
it's
us to
live.
actually go live.
It
Go
says
check
it's
Twitch.
live.
Wow, that was fast.
Yeah, sometimes it's gotten faster. I've noticed. I don't know
It's
what
on YouTube already.
is it.
Yep, YouTube's up.
Well, cool. It's not showing on mine. It's showing over on Twitch, so I'll take y'all's word for it. Good evening and welcome to Let's Talk Shop with Russ. We're back again on a Saturday night like we've been doing. Nick, I don't know if you knew this, but this, I've been doing this for 6 years now.
That's crazy.
6 years.
Wow.
Yes. This is season 6 years. So,
What's
yes. So, anyway, we got Nick Ferry on tonight. He's going to be doing he's doing a series. His wife has, like, because of everybody else, wives are working from home. Mine already worked from home, so I know I wasn't surprised. So, but he's building her a desk for a computer. So he's going to be showing us some stuff on that tonight. We're going to be talking about that. But before we go into that, let me talk about my wonderful sponsors, and they are DeVogel Technologies for web design, development, and hosting. Visit devogel.com. FastCap, innovative product for the professional woodworker. Go to fastcap.com. Rockler, 60 years of woodworking. Visit with create with confidence. Visit rockler.com. Bearwood Supply Company, your best choice for hard to find woodworking supplies. Visit bearwood.com, and I'll be able to speak sooner or later. Klingspor, the sanding specialist, woodworkingshop.com, Seiko, the scroll saw specialist, Seiko.com, and Scrollnado, dust collection for your scroll saw. So yes, and I'm not overheated this week, this Saturday, so I feel a whole lot better than I did last Saturday. We did some yard work today, but we did it in the backyard. I told my wife I'm not getting out in the front yard today and getting overheated like I did last week. So yeah, I wasn't doing too good last week. Last Saturday, I was not feeling well at all. But anyway, so I apologize for that. But my wife even told me, why didn't you just go ahead and cancel the show? And I'm kind of like, because I'll have to listen to Paul gripe and complain that I canceled the show. And I'm like, so right. He'll just give me heck all week. You canceled the show again, didn't you? And I'm like, yeah.
You got that right.
So anyway, so the show must go on. So let's let everybody introduce themselves, and Nick, you'll be last since you're the guest. So first person is Brenda.
Howdy, everybody. I'm Brenda G. Brenda G's Designs. In case you don't know who I am, you can find me any place on the internet if you look up Brenda G's Designs. I have a YouTube channel where I do crafts and comedy, and I do a Saturday night live stream. Or Saturday night. Lord have mercy. I've done lost my mind in this quarantine. I do a Thursday night live stream at 7 p.m. Eastern time with Matt Haas. And if you want to have some fun, come over there and join us. It's called Mind Equals Blown. And we have all kinds of shenanigans that goes on that show. You never know what we're going to talk about because we don't know what we're going to talk about. So everybody's welcome. Hope you come in and join us for an hour.
Saturday night. That's pretty good. Yeah.
I don't know what day it is anymore. I have to have a calendar.
Oh, trust me, our days are going very rapidly together. Paul
Corliss, Paul's Messy Workshop. Somebody mentioned they thought this was my workshop. Believe me, it's much too clean to be my workshop. You can find me on YouTube at Paul's Messy Workshop, or on Instagram, or sometimes if I ever get it working right, paulsmessyworkshop.com. And thanks for having me on, Russ. I appreciate it.
You're most welcome. Russ Meadows.
Yeah, I was someone that mentioned about Paul's shop, so it bit me in the butt, and he got me online too. Oh man, online. Russ Meadows from Rusty Nails Wood Shop with Facebook, Instagram, and I mean just a smidgen of YouTube. Back to you, Russ.
Just a smidgen of YouTube.
Only one video, but I'm thinking about doing another one.
Cool.
Ooh.
Jim.
Yeah, I might try to do one of that Jesus plaque I made. That's my next one.
Go, Jim.
Go, Jim.
Jim Bashir's Driveway Workshop. Looking forward to talking with Nick. I haven't talked to him for a long time.
Yeah, I haven't talked to Nick for a long time. He kind of like, some of the groups that I was in for a while, I guess we kind of like departed or separated, so we don't do it as much as we used to. So,
yep.
Uh,
I got to stop and meet Jim on the way back home from a show or something one time, so that was kind of cool.
Yeah,
Cool.
the classy McDonald's right off the highway there by the house. Nothing but the best for Nick.
That's where the internet's deceiving. He is not a short guy.
oh yeah, he's not. Chris Ahern.
Hey gang, Chris here from the old Cranky Workshop. Up here in the not so frozen anymore New England area outside of Boston. We'll be back in the shop soon. The shop is open again. And thanks to this little work from home situation, I'm going to be in the shop a lot the next week or two. So hopefully I get a video project going. So I got a couple ideas right now. So next.
Yeah, Braxton Worthland is out in the chat and he goes, "Is that the Nick Ferry?" Yes, it is the Nick Ferry. Yep.
The one and only.
Yep.
Hey, Braxton.
Dixon.
Hey everybody, I'm Dixon Hoffman, and you can find me at Hoffman Signs and Decals /3dprinting.com and once in a while on Facebook.
And last but not least, my good friend Al Forte.
Good evening, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, no matter where you are around the world. Hey, welcome to Simply Win Creations Let's Talk Shop with Russ. And I'm Al Forte. You can find me on YouTube. Just search for Kilroy79763. You can find me on Twitch. You can find me all over the place since Kilroy is everywhere, I guess. Kilroy79763. And thank you for having me. It's great to be here. Looking forward to talking to Nick. Nick, you're up, Nick.
Well, let me talk about the chat real quick. Yeah, Braxton's out there. He says, "Hello, everyone." I haven't had Braxton in my watching the show, and I don't know how long. He used to watch it all the time. And it takes Nick Ferry to bring Braxton out. Do you notice that, right, Nick?
Braxton and I have been hanging out this entire time. I've gone nowhere.
Oh, okay. Well, y'all don't invite me.
Well, yeah, it's been the same little link that it's been for 6 years. So
Okay. So we got, let me go back to the beginning real quick. And we got Steve Carmichael is out there in the chat. Hello,
I love
Steve.
Steve Carmichael. He's
Yep.
awesome.
David from Portal Woodworks. Ken McCrory, Path 1961. Aussie Man, Michelle Marcoux. The Dad Cave, Alan Carter, Dan Ingy, Chris Nealon, Braxton Worthland, and Awesome Wood Things. Matt Haas is out there. KSFWG.
Yay, Awesome Wood Things. Awesome.
Yep, he's out there. So all of them are out there in the chat.
KSFWG, that's Dave. He's awesome.
Yeah, is that Dave?
Yeah, that's Dave. He's, when they had that big sticker craze, sticker swap.
Uh-huh.
He's never made a video, but he made a sticker saying I'm like a YouTube supporter, sticker swap champion. It was kind of cool. So he had his own sticker to swap,
Cool.
Yeah.
So Nick, how you been?
I have been well. How about yourself?
I'm doing really good. Well, in the beginning, you didn't know me. I grew a beard, so that's kind of obvious.
Well, but I know you well enough to even know why you grew a beard.
You did? Why?
Because you were a fireman and you could never have facial hair. So when you retired, you figured, why not grow a beard?
Exactly. Yep.
Yeah.
So
I actually listened.
some people do. Some people really do. Like,
Yeah.
Were you on the show when this was made?
Yeah. With Sean Rubino.
Yes. See, he remembers that. Damn, he's good.
Okay, this is really funny because my wife said, I said, don't we have 2 webcams? And now that the kids are at home and the wife's at home, so now webcams are getting spread thin. And she goes, yeah. She goes, we bought an extra webcam when you did that show to show off your table saw. And I said, yep, that's the same show I'm going to be on tonight. So yeah, I haven't used that second webcam since the last time.
Oh wow, that's been that was in the first year, so that was 5 years ago.
Well, yeah, that webcam's seen some use, I guess.
Yeah, that's 5 years ago. So yeah, my family's doing good. Everybody's doing good. So
that's awesome.
Yeah, your kids got to be growing. How old are they now?
10 and 8, and my 10-year-old is 5'2".
Wow.
Yeah.
He's gonna be tall. Yeah, he's gonna be tall.
Yeah, and they're both awesome kids. I told them to tune in for the first few minutes. So
Cool. Yeah, I'm like 5'11". Both of my boys, which they took it from their other grandfather, my wife's father, he was like 6'3" or 6'4", and Cameron and Corey are like 6'2". So they're
Yeah.
a lot taller than me. Cameron's really big. Cameron's like 6'2", and he's probably 300 pounds. And he used to play. He was a lineman for football, so he's a big boy.
That's been always kind of a fascination of mine when you watch all these videos, and sometimes you don't meet in person, and there's no reference to them in their shop. So
Right.
like when I met Mike Fulton, I could have swore just from his videos, maybe he seemed about 5'7". Mike Fulton's like 6'4" or 6'3".
6'4", yeah.
And I'm like, oh yeah, you're a big boy. You know?
Yeah. How tall are you, Jim?
6'4".
Yeah. When you see Jim like that, you go like, yeah, he's like one of us. And then you meet him, you go, hey, how's the weather up there?
Yeah, it was fun, Stretch.
All right, Nick, what do you want? What you got for us tonight?
All right, let me see if I can switch my webcam here and figure her out. I don't know, did I?
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
Ooh, acid.
I don't have to. Citric acid.
Oh, okay. All right.
I don't know if I got to click on anything on my end, Russ, or if you take care of that. But
I take care of that. Yep.
All right. So I was just showing in my recent YouTube video about how to get, and of course it's just out of frame, but let me see here. How to get a zinc coated fastener. You know, this could be a nut, bolt, screw, I hook, J hook, captain hook, doesn't matter. But if you mix a little bit of citric acid, which don't get alarmed, citric acid's in like your Kool-Aid lemonade powders and stuff like that. It's fairly benign, but you can get it down to its mild steel, and then you can dip it in a gun bluing acid, which I believe is selenium dioxide. It's a little bit stronger than the citric acid. You definitely want to take caution with that one. The citric acid, let me see if I can show this. The citric acid I have in an old pickle jar, and I just wrote citric acid on it. You get a health food store, you get like 2 pounds of it for like $10. I mean, it's reasonable. But the actual selenium dioxide, that one I take a little bit more precaution. It's definitely a little bit more acidic. And but anyways, that was just showing how, if you have a project where woodworking, cabinetry, whatever, and you want your fasteners to be subdued. I'm working on a desk where the legs are black, so I didn't want any of the fasteners that I'm using in conjunction with the legs to be, well, yeah, you could always squirt that with a little bit of spray paint, but sometimes that fills up that, the drive socket, and then it's chipping off or whatever. So I was just going to show that real quick.
Go ahead. Yeah, I find that too. I had done some fasteners, like you said. I just said, what the hell? I grabbed a can of lacquer and shot the lacquer on the heads and put them in, and it doesn't last very long. The first time you brush up against them really hard, the lacquer will flake right off, and now you got the shiny silver head sitting there again.
Yep. And so, like,
Yeah,
I think it's maybe 4 tablespoons, about two tablespoons.
Can I ask you a question, Nick?
I'll get to this other jar. Yeah.
Yeah, it caught my attention. That little scoop thing that you've got there looks like a musical instrument, maybe, or something like that. What is that?
That is I bought that from a man that it's in our local woodworking guild, and he makes various coffee scoops, and I believe it's Coca-Cola. I have no idea, though. I'm not much of the exotic woods, but I just love the detail on the inlay that he did with it.
Yeah, that's neat.
It is. Awesome. I'm sorry to interrupt.
No, that's all right.
Hey, no worries. Yeah. I mean, like, I don't know, I'm not much mad scientist, because the tongs that I use.
Uh-oh. We dropped Nick.
But we know what that little scoop is.
Well, we got something out of him tonight.
Right.
Oh, he's coming down.
Yeah, the problem of it is here it is. The problem of it is he'll have to come back in.
Is he not near the screen? He doesn't know yet. He's still talking.
Tell him when he comes back in, he's got to start at the beginning
No, I
again.
don't know if you guys can hear me.
Yeah, we lost you. You lost your video and your audio.
Yeah,
You're back.
I apologize. Let me try to move my computer. That couldn't change, but my Wi-Fi's hit or miss out in my shop, so
Your
hopefully that
bandwidth is
improves.
low.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're breaking up. Your audio is now breaking up too.
Got low bandwidth.
Got a quick question for Chris.
And yeah, KSFWG says now we know why he hasn't used that second webcam for 5 years.
Chris, what's your background?
That is the cockpit of a A4 Skyhawk.
Nice, nice.
I took that when I worked for the air station.
All right, so over on, since Nick's getting that set up, over on Facebook we have Brian Warner. He goes, "Good evening, guys. I was raised outside of Worcester. Chris,
Mass. Yeah,
Is he-
Worcester.
okay, Worcester.
No, Worcester. Like Worcestershire sauce.
Okay,
Like
Worcestershire
Worcestershire
sauce.
sauce?
Okay,
Or Worcester. Yeah.
Worcester. Okay. All right. So Jane or Jared Farnsworth, Mike Lincolns, Ken Moon, John Hellstrom, Brian Warner, and Chris Tackett, Shannon Keats, Ken Moon, and Dave Coben are all over there on Facebook. Nice for all of y'all to have joined us.
My wife's over on Facebook too, so anything she says,
Don't hold it against you.
don't believe her.
Yeah, my
Am I
wife's the same
back?
way. My wife watches this and she knows what to come back and yak at me for.
Am I back or no?
Yes, you're back.
Awesome. All right. Let me see what's showing on the screen. All right. I just had, like I said, like a couple of those scoops of citric acid in a little beaker. There's 80 milliliters. The only reason I knew that is because that says on the other side. But anyways, it doesn't need to be 80 milliliters, of course. But I was just going to start one and then hopefully be able to get Zoom. You literally will start to see the reaction. Oh, come on. It just focused for a second.
That's the streamer's nightmare.
Yeah.
Oh, come
Keeping it in focus.
Yep.
Webcams are not. I tried doing a video a while back, and on my scroll saw and using the webcam was already mounted. I just hooked it to the computer and had the computer record. And when I went back and watched the video, it sucked.
Ooh, I tricked it.
Yeah.
Oh, and then it caught a different one again.
It did.
Come on.
Aussie said he missed everything after listen carefully.
Wipe the camera lens off real quick, Nick. Maybe there's something on the camera lens and you don't see it.
Okay, what he's doing, if y'all missed that, is he has taken and put some citric acid in some water, and now he's putting one of those zinc screws. There's coated zinc to keep them from rusting, and he's letting the citric acid eat the zinc off the screw.
And citric acid's so mild, I just stuck my finger in there. Like I said, it's not going to melt your skin off. I mean, if you have a paper cut, it'll find it real quick. But
Oh,
Yeah.
But anyways, that one is reacting slow, but we can come back to it. That's why I set a couple of them in there that were, let's see, about, I don't know, maybe a half hour ago. These
Okay.
ones in here. And I don't know. And of course, it's been so long, you won't be able to see. There's the very little reaction left. There isn't much bubble. Of course, it's probably not going to want to focus.
So this thing does this
Wow, this
within
is
like.
going over like a pregnant.
So this does this within like 30 minutes to an hour.
Yeah, I mean, if the reaction stops and you don't get the zinc to come off, in fact, these went a hair long, but I mean, it's not going to eat into the metal. I mean, the zinc coating is removed. Let me just see if I can get it to actually focus on. Let's see here. There.
Yeah, it's gone. Oh, there he goes again. We lost Nick.
Now you see him, now you don't.
Oh, he's back.
All right. I apologize. I mean, I can always duck out if it's too inconvenient.
No. It's fine.
All right. Let me try and. The only tab I have opened is the Zoom tab, and that's I think the only thing keeping me. That's auto redialing my connection, so I don't want to close that one.
Yeah.
But anyways, let's see if I can.
Oh yeah, that's
Yeah.
it. Wow. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's down to its bare metal, mild steel, and once that dries, this is one that I did earlier.
Wow.
Come on.
Yeah,
I
that's a
think we're
big
getting
difference.
it. We're getting it.
We're getting it. Oh, yeah.
There you go.
Wow.
So now I just rinse off the one that was in the citric acid in just a little bit of water. I mean, because you don't necessarily want to be combining acids. You don't want to have any,
Right.
Why not?
So you don't put any baking soda in that to neutralize it?
I think he disappeared again.
I'll take that as a no, huh, Russ?
Yep.
He's speechless.
Aussie man says the acid works so well it's dissolving his video feed as well.
Yeah,
There you go.
he does
Baking soda.
Yeah. I mean, I have that nearby just because that's more of a safety thing when you're working with acid, because for anyone that doesn't know, baking soda can neutralize many acids. So, but like none of these, even the gun bluing acid, if you spill it on yourself, it might warm your skin, but I mean, yeah, you don't want to necessarily dig your fingers in that one as much, but.
Right.
All right, cool. I thought I froze again. All right, so now I'll just that one that we did here, and I got to try and pull some of these other ones out because I have a feeling that once I show this reaction, that people are going to want to see it again because it literally happens instantly. So I'll pull those guys out so I'll have extras ready.
Now,
All right.
what happens if you
So
put-
here's the selenium dioxide.
Okay, go ahead.
Oh, no, go ahead. You ask the question. I'm still.
Well, yeah, I was going to say, what happens if you put the zinc coated screw in the that other acid? What would it do?
It doesn't break through the zinc. The zinc acts as its intended
Okay.
coating, keeping the metal corrosion free.
Okay.
There's something with the citric nature of the citric acid; it'll attack the zinc.
Okay.
That's like anytime you see a lot of chrome plated metals, a lot of times if like they won't go to a chrome right away, they'll go to a metal that's more of I guess we'll call it the shellac of metal, something like a copper that adheres to aluminum well and steel, so it makes a good aluminum to steel adhesion layer, if that
Right.
makes sense.
Yes, I understand.
All right.
Yeah, because
So-
aluminum mixed up to that's dissimilar metals, and they cause a reaction and all that other kind of stuff. Yes, go ahead.
Yeah. Well, I gotta try and get a focus for this because this is definitely the.
Get it a little bit closer. Yeah, I ought to do. Hey, right there.
Purdy.
I don't know if it'll show it, but I mean it.
Oh, yeah.
It lost the focus right at the end, but
No,
it
you-
literally within a couple seconds is now solid black.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I saw-
Oh,
I
yeah.
saw it.
Because that one's a.
Wow.
Yeah.
Pretty
Let
cool.
me see if I have one of them that I wanted to try and show it. And let me see here. Oops, there we go. This might work. I kind of thought that my focus might get screwy. So I did have a backup. If I can get the sheen right. There, maybe. Focus on that. All right, the vice grips ain't working. There.
That's not bad. That's good. Oh,
You moved it.
yeah. You had the sweet spot.
You had a
missed it.
sweet spot.
Let me tilt it down once.
like telling your little brother to hold the antenna.
Yeah.
Yeah, the rabbit ears.
Yep. That's what little brothers are for.
Right
That's
there.
good.
Yeah.
That's good. That's
If you
good.
guys say that's good. All right, so I just got a brush, and I'm gonna brush on the bluing agent. Oh, come on. Oh, that one's got wax on it. All right.
It's gonna be one of those nights.
All right, we'll try this one.
Oh, perfect.
Perfect. Right
Perfect.
there.
Don't move. Hold your
Don't
breath.
move.
Oh wow.
Wow.
Yeah.
There it
Oh, the
is.
change.
It literally, and that's why I used a brush. I'm gonna try and apply it just to the one section.
Wow.
Wow.
Yes. Yes.
And so that's why it's so difficult. And I'm kind of bummed that it wasn't focusing all this time, but because if it doesn't pick up the color, this is bare metal, but if the camera picks it up, it already looks like, oh, well, he started out black. No, it's just a mild gray. And then that gun bluing really does make it be a jet black. So
Nice.
Now, next time he puts his hand out, he'll have blood all over his hand.
He'll be missing a finger.
Yeah.
no,
Take
We
one
could
for
see
the
the-
I
team.
mean, you're given 10 of them, right?
We can see the one on the left that was bubbling.
Yeah. That one on the left is bubbling now.
Yep.
What?
The one in the citric acid, we could see that bubbling.
Oh, okay. I'll go back to it then. I just clicked off it. Let me see here.
Yeah.
Oh,
you-
yeah. Here, I'll
Yeah,
Yeah,
we
it's
see
starting
it.
to come up.
Oh yeah, you can see it bubbling real good.
Yes.
Not now.
You had to move it, didn't you?
I did.
Oh, there it is. You
Yeah.
still
Now
see
we
it.
see it.
It needs
Oh
some-
yeah.
needs something to focus on.
We can see it.
Yeah, we can see it.
All right.
Yeah, you can tell it. It's eating away on that zinc.
Definitely not focused where I want it to.
My rum and coke bubbles like that.
I bet it does.
You need more rum.
Braxton wants to know if that gun
There we go.
blowing will dissolve a nitrile glove.
I doubt it. I really doubt it.
Yeah,
I'm-
it's
you know,
no, it's not going to dissolve a nitrile glove. No. No.
come on.
I've used some pretty harsh solvents with nitrile gloves, and it hasn't hurt. These acids that you're using aren't that strong. Even the bluing one, even though it turns that you seen he had it on his hands and it really didn't hurt him.
Of course, that won't get it, huh?
Well, where did you get the idea to do it this way?
The citric acid thing, I only picked that up maybe 6 or 7 years ago. But as far as turning bare mild steel into black with like an oxide coating, that I picked up from an old neighbor that used to do restorations on like old cars. Like he had a 67 fastback Mustang with a bunch of pulleys and stuff that he wanted black oxide.
Ah,
And so I was helping him with that, and he was doing research, back before, interwebs and all that. But
mm,
I
that is
can't.
pretty cool, man.
Methylene chloride. Chris Nealon says methylene chloride will eat a nitrile glove. Don't ask me how I know. Luana Pierce has joined us. She says bubble, toil and
That's a
trouble.
workshop confession story.
Yeah. Aussie Man wants to know, where did you buy the blackening acid from?
Off Amazon. If you go I think in the show notes, I asked Russ to put a playlist, and it's got the video I just released showing. Oh, there. Now
It's focused perfectly.
All right. I'm not touching anything. That can sit there till the end of time as far as.
Yeah. No, I did add that link to your playlist on all the advertisements I put out. So if you go to the advertisement for this show tonight, his playlist link is on that advertisement, and it will, one of his videos is him doing this.
And in that video, the description, and I talk about it, and I say there's links to everything: the citric acid, the selenium dioxide, And in fact, that video description, if you read it, I think most people will get a chuckle out of it.
So your answer, Aussie Man, is Amazon.
Yep. But read the description. That's a doozy. I think it is.
Yeah, yeah. Go watch his video on it. It's pretty cool. And
And
his video has some really good close-ups of some of this stuff happening.
It went out of focus on its own. I'm cursed with that. Good thing I'm done showing that. If you see the video is not choppy.
Cool.
Well, thanks for letting me show that, or my attempt at showing that.
No, it worked. We all saw how to do it now. Like I said, I'd never used citric acid. I've used vinegar before, and which you mentioned in your video. The problem with vinegar is if you let it sit in there too long, it'll actually damage the screws. So.
Oh yeah, I mean, I would imagine that the citric acid does too, but. And I'm not a chemist, but I have a feeling that the citric acid is giving something up, because if you do a large batch of screws and you come back, even an hour later and there's no bubbles, no nothing, and they're not quite done, well, it seemed to kind of run through its course. Add a little bit more acid, or even rinse those off and repeat it. But I just add a little bit more and check it back another half hour.
Jim Dockrell's joined us late. He was in here before, and he said, "Don't take the brown acid." Okay, we won't take the brown acid. And let me go over here and check Facebook.
Right after they turn black and all, you dry them off and they're ready for use, or what?
Yeah, they are. It's the coating, from what I understand it, is more you're changing kind of the molecular structure of the metal. It's not necessarily a topical coating like a spray paint, but it's not necessarily super abrasion resistant, super scratch resistant, and it will discolor if it's like outdoors. So if it's something outdoors, maybe just a quick shot of a clear lacquer as a sealant. Or that's why I said that one had wax on it.
Yeah.
I'll just take a little paste wax or whatever, and they shine up real nice. They look like a real nice, subtle, buttery satin black.
Pretty cool.
Yeah.
Chris Tackett says it looks like I'm watching the Brady Bunch with all y'all on the squares. We have Steve Garrison, Tracy Williams, Hans Myers, Shannon Keats, Annette Johnson, George Stevenson, Jeff Tanner, Jerry Blakeslee, David Kepi, Doyle Miller, Donna Presley. Hi, Donna. Donna says hi. So I'm on YouTube, Facebook, or Zoom, LOL. You are on Facebook, Donna. You're answering on Facebook, but we're all on Zoom.
Oh, we're still clicked on me. We should not be clicked on me this entire.
No, it's changed. I've changed it. It'll take a few seconds to catch up.
Okay.
Hey, Nick, you can go up in the upper right-hand corner and
change it.
You can click it up in the upper right-hand corner.
If you move your cursor up to the top of your Zoom screen, you'll see some little icons up there.
One of them is change the view.
Go to the one that says Gallery.
Gallery. Yeah.
Looks like a Rubik's Cube.
Speaker view.
Over it.
All right, thanks.
You're welcome.
The brave
Yeah,
Roots is over
it's
on
like a
Facebook.
15-second lag between us live and on YouTube.
Oh wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Well, that was why I started cutting out, because I told my kids, I said, if you guys want to go see Dad on that live show, and then and that's when they tuned in, and then that's when our bandwidth just.
Yes, I'm simultaneously. I use Zoom and also use a program called Restream, and Restream broadcasts to Facebook, YouTube, and to Twitch simultaneously.
Oh wow!
So we're on all three right now.
I don't even think I've ever been on Twitch.
Well, you are now.
Well, there you go.
Yeah, we probably got about 30 people watching us over on Facebook.
I was trying to set up if I can change my camera if people wanted to watch it react, but I don't think I'm gonna be able to get it to focus.
Yes.
There.
Oh,
There you
there
go.
it is.
Perfect.
Yep, there it is. It's focused.
It's bubbling.
Yep.
Yeah.
We'll go back to
Bubble, bubble, bubble.
Somebody say something. Got a little dead air.
Okay, I'll say something. It's not very nice though, but it's as exciting as watching paint dry. Sorry, guys.
It's actually paint bubble.
I'd rather watch paint dry, to be honest.
There you go. There you go. My apologies. No insult intended.
Nick,
Still
do you
looks
still
like it's
do
zinc.
the theater stuff?
Hey, are there any fumes coming out of there, Nick?
He disappeared again.
yep, I
Yeah.
think we lost him.
He went to the bathroom.
He passed out from the fumes.
Yeah.
He passed out from
The
the
camera will
fumes.
come back on and he'll be laying on the floor.
Right.
You'll never see it because it's aimed at that cup.
Yeah. But you'll hear
And
it
it's really
in the background. Help me up. Help me up.
it's really going quick now.
It is.
His kids just jumped on the Xbox.
Yeah. I was listening to an Irish friend the other night from Ireland play, and he had a great stream going, live playing, and all of a sudden it started getting choppy and freezing up and freezing up. He discovered his kids logged onto a game, and they were taking all the strength out of his broadcast. So
Yeah, that'll do
he
it.
had to go upstairs and correct that real fast.
Donna said that they just got their shelter in place order. So now they're sheltering in place.
Oof.
So, and she said she still don't have time to do everything she's got to do.
The Appalachian Heritage Wood Shop says this process allows me to buy standard hardware at the local hardware store and make it look old for period pieces. Yeah, that was the
Mhm.
whole point.
That's
Yeah.
the whole point.
That's Gerald Vance, I think, huh?
Yep.
You mean I don't have to save rusty screws anymore?
Hey, I resemble that remark.
Now,
You can still save them, Chris.
I found the best stuff to remove rust.
And that is?
Well, I'm looking for.
That was a
Bring mine.
teaser. That was just a teaser.
Yeah, that's
Right.
the teaser for because I forgot
If
the name of it.
If it's removing rust you're after, that's a compass, and you can see before and after with citric acid.
Okay, well, you see now I
Okay.
didn't know citric acid used remove rust.
Yeah,
How
and I
long
like
did
it. I like it on the more instrumental tools because you're not worried nearly as much as it eating into the metal as you are with vinegar.
How long did
Yeah.
it take to remove that rust, Nick?
That was probably 2 hours of sitting in
Oh, okay.
citric acid.
That's not bad.
Yeah, I mean, I went a fairly heavy solution, but I always do just because I know it's going to kind of slow down as it reacts. But,
Well, citric acid would be pretty good then for cleaning up iron skillets too.
yeah, I mean, it's not bad for that. It's just I know it won't work on grease because I've tried
Right.
it on like what do you call those, like cookie sheets, and they're like, oh, I wonder if it'll eat through that. No, it won't do anything to grease. I don't know why.
I was talking more about the rust on old iron
Oh, yeah.
skillets.
Cast iron and stuff. Yeah,
Hmm. Yeah.
Nick, are you getting any fumes off that?
it does give off a little bit. I kind of mentioned that in the video because you don't want to necessarily I keep most of the stuff in jars when I'm not using it. But if you're putting some fasteners in there, you definitely want to take the lid off because it does give off. I think it's hydrogen is what it gives off, but look up.
So it's combustible then.
I don't. Okay, maybe it's not hydrogen. I don't know.
Well,
it could be. I have no
I would
idea.
think it'd be nitrogen.
Well, take your cigarette lighter and put it over the jar.
Oh my God.
Put a match on top and see what it does. We'll know.
I don't think it is flammable, but I mean, this is
There's
such
your
a
next
minute-
workshop confession.
There you go.
Nick, you broke up a little bit when you were talking about the ratio for mixing the citric acid solution. So could you repeat that for us? Nick.
I froze when it was question or comment. Sorry.
Hey, Nick, when you were talking about the ratio for mixing the citric acid solution, you broke up a little bit on the demonstration. So could you repeat that for us on what the ratio was?
Yeah, I think in the video when I said 1 to 4, 1 part citric acid to 4 parts water.
Okay.
And that's just more of a precautionary because people don't measure and it's more I pretty much do 1 and 1 when I do it, but I don't want people hopping in the deep end of the jacuzzi right away.
Okay.
Yeah. Anyway, the rust remover I was referring to is Evapo Rust.
Oh yeah, okay. I've heard of it. I don't think I've ever used it.
I heard a lot about it myself here in the last year, and I bought a quart of it, and I used it. And let me tell you, it's amazing. It's a little pricey, don't get me wrong, but it's amazing. I had a crescent wrench that I found out in the yard, and I don't remember ever having it out there. Maybe one of my kids had it out there fixing their bike or whatever. But anyway, it'd been under the dirt, and so I took it and beat it off, got all the dirt off of it, and I was like, wow, this will never work. Well, I had that vapor rust. I had it for cleaning a few tools that got some light rust on them. And that's another thing that's real good. You can actually put your nitro gloves on and put it on like I used a Scotch-Brite pad and poured a little on the Scotch-Brite pad and just took the light rusted tools and rubbed them, and man, it cleaned it right off immediately.
You could probably do that on your DeWalt scroll saw table too.
Yes, it will take it off of any of your cast iron tables for your tools or stuff. It'll work really great with a Scotch-Brite and a little bit of that, and it'll clean them right up. But anyway, so I took that old wrench and put it in a vat and poured that quart over it and left it for about 15, 20 minutes, come back, and it was clean as a whistle. And I squirted some WD-40 on it, and by God, I got it to work again.
Aussie Man's asking a question, and I think I know the answer, but I'm going to let Nick tell us his version. It says, instead of citric acid and sit watching the paint dry, why not just run the belt sander on it for 1 second, not 1 hour?
Oh, that's a super easy question because you can do this with hinges and J hooks and intricate pieces that aren't flat that you'd run on the belt sander. That you might not want to necessarily like this. When I go to do a project, I'll switch quickly, but that's like as much hardware I needed to do just for a desk. So if you want to drop some hardware in a jar with a couple scoops and then go on with your business, or if you want to sit there on a belt sander, you can sit there on a belt sander.
Right. And then I agree, you can do hinges with this. You could do hook and clasp for, like, let's say you were making a chest and you wanted it to look old, do a hook and clasp and it would make it look old. So
it'd be awful hard to use a belt sander to get into them grooves on that screw right there.
Yeah, that was going to be my answer.
Well, I think all he meant was the head, just because the head's the only thing going to be exposed.
Well,
yeah, but I mean, okay, because I'm using power head screws where they do have a flat head, but I'm doing bolts where I needed the end.
Yes.
It's in the video playlist, but I actually make leg levelers out of bolts, and I show. I don't know if I had that cross section yet. I show how I do all the drilling operations, and then a bolt turns into a nice little homemade internal leg leveler for furniture.
Right.
So that's in the playlist as well. But yeah, so that's not something you're going to hit on the belt sander and get in there to get it black or to get the zinc off,
Yeah.
No, if you were just doing the screws, it wouldn't be too bad of an idea. But yeah, I would rather have it like this and do the whole thing, make it look all antique.
The one precaution on hinges is a lot of hinge manufacturers for home store hinges, the leaves are mild steel, but the actual pivot pin is aluminum. So this particular blackening agent won't work on aluminum. So if you strip the zinc and then you go to dunk it, and all of a sudden, wow, the whole center pin won't change to black. Just be aware of that. It's got to be a mild steel pin. They do have other, and I have links in my video about that. There's different chemicals used for aluminum, different use for brass and things of that nature.
Donna's Wood Art says, could you do a combo lock to make it work better?
Like a keyed combination lock kind of thing, or?
That's what I'm guessing.
I I don't think it would actually work better. Black oxide is coefficient of friction on black oxide it's much more rough than your like chromoly kind of finish that they put on a padlock. I don't think it would help.
Yeah. Chris Nealon said a vapor rust will darken the metal. It's phosphoric acid. No, it's not. I've got the MSDS sheet and on it, and also it says right here in the thing, it says Evapor Rust is safe to use. It's non-toxic, non-corrosive, non-flammable, contains no acids, alkalines, or petroleum solvents. So it's not phosphoric acid. And the metal that I used it on, it did not darken it. It left it the color that it was.
Yeah, that one question, if that was a barrel lock, you could put that in a can with a vapor lock and that thing would loosen that right up in an hour.
And by the way, this is hydrogen according to the website fishing.com. Go figure. What it's doing is it's breaking down the outer coating and converting it into
zinc.
hydrogen into whatever salt, whatever metal you're dissolving, basically. So it is explosive.
So get the lighter out.
That's right. Let's go. Come on.
I think it's still bubbling.
Nick, break the lighter out. Let's prove that it's flammable. You know that beard that you have, Nick?
Yeah, he didn't need that beard anyway.
I've been watching a couple of guys that do old restorations and stuff, and they'll do this and then take the heads of the screws and stuff and put them on a buffing wheel with some compound.
Oh yeah, and polish
and they've
them.
got that really cool dark patina look on them when they're all done with them.
Chris Nealon said, "Oops, he was thinking of crud cutter."
Yeah.
Sorry. Yeah, I was going to say I used it, and I didn't think. And when I read it, I was impressed. And it's a little pricey. I think the quart was like $15, and I think a gallon of it is like about 35. Or it's like I said, it's a little pricey. But that quart lasted me. I used it off and on. I would pour it into a tub and use it, and then pour it back into the container and seal it. And it's fine to do that. It says you can do that on the instructions. Or if you just want to get a plastic container with a lid, because it will evaporate. So you need to seal it back up so it can't evaporate. But anyway, I used it on tons of stuff. I had some little rust on my table saw. I used it on tools. I used it on some drill bits that I found that were kind of rusted up. And I like it. I mean, it was worth the money because of restoring all those tools that I used it on. So, and a quart went a long way. So I don't need no gallon, but they do sell it in gallons. Or is it a gallon or half a gallon? You'll have to check. I just bought the quart. But yeah, somebody turned me on to that Vapor Rust and said, you ought to try this. It works real good. And I was very impressed. But I am going to say, I am going to check into, well, now I'll have to wait till this burn COVID-19 crap's all over so I can go out and get the citric acid. Hell, I can't even go get the Vapor Rust.
You might be able to convince them that that's an essential.
Yeah.
Lowe's is open. I bet they got it at Lowe's.
Yeah, I was at Lowe's today picking up a refrigerator. That's definitely essential.
Your refrigerator,
so.
Your refrigerator went out, Al?
Huh?
Your refrigerator went out?
Yeah, I'm sitting there looking at it. It was sparking and stuff. And I reach over to get the fire extinguisher and it just poof and literally flames out the bottom.
Wow.
Apparently there was water running down on top of the capacitor, the start capacitor for the compressor. And it had been sparking and it had been making noise and smelling and stuff. And I'm like looking at it because I was checking it out. And all of a sudden it just went.
Wow.
Yeah.
Nick, are you still there?
Oops.
Yep.
I believe
6 o'clock this morning.
Well,
he's there.
Can you hear me?
Well,
He's
you're
back.
kind of broken up a little bit, but yes, you're still there.
No, it's quiet.
Nick, I wonder if you inhale the fumes, if your voice will
Yeah.
No, wait a second. That's
Are you over there huffing those fumes, Nick?
that's hydrogen, not or helium, not hydrogen.
If I move this camera, I might be able to get a better signal. But we will see.
So Nick, when you do your videos, I'm assuming you are wired and stuff, and you're not doing it wirelessly, obviously. Do you use a regular camera or a USB camera or
Like a video camera.
a regular video camera?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let me grab some, because right as I was breaking up, you guys were talking about it, and I was catching half the conversation. And we'll see if I can actually get anything to focus again, because we know how good I am at that. But here, we were talking about fasteners, blackening things, making them look antique. These are a set of samples that I have around my shop that I keep for customers. These are all carriage bolts. They're all identical. I can bring it to a mirror finish. I can do a pebble finish, an antique finish. That's stock. That's what a carriage bolt looks like. That's just where the numbers and the identification's taken off and it's blackened. Like I said, I wish it would.
Wow, those are nice.
But
Yeah.
I mean, you go and you mess with your hardware. And here, let me switch back to the other webcam because I think that one actually focuses better. Yeah, way better.
Yeah, that's nice.
Nice.
So those are all the same carriage bolt out of the same box. But so yeah, if you're not dinking around with your stock hardware to get different looks, then I mean maybe that's the only thing that I don't know. I could see that as like a very industrial kind of modern. It's very mere globe, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
How'd you get the markings off?
This one is more of a pebble finish, and that would be great on something that's you're trying to kind of give it a vintage feel to it. But yeah.
If he told you, he'd have to kill you, Al.
Well, and then the pebble finish. How did he do that?
Real simple. Wire wheel.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
The pebble finish or the markings?
The pebble finish is the wire wheel. I've been meaning to do a video on it, but I hate editing video, I found out. But like if you take so that's your beginning just run of the mill carriage bolt, right? So on the next stage, I guess that you could take it. I don't have one that's just sanded, but then I just sanded this and added the blackening. That's it. I mean, I sanded that. Now it looks like a button or a rivet or something like that, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Now, here I do have one that no blackening, polished bare metal. It's a little bit different. You can tell the blackening versus the polish of bare metal.
You're not
And then
polishing
if you take
on a buffing wheel, are you?
yeah, those are well, here, I'll get to the buffing wheel one, but after the sander, if you want, and this will be kind of hard to show, but there's a wrinkle to this one. It's a lot more pronounced in real life. It almost looks like a hand hammered. That's done on the wire wheel. So after I grind and sand the numbers off, I take that on a wire wheel and I get that stippling, and then I blacken that one. Or you can, completely, once you get done with the sander, take it over to the buffer and you'll just have a nice bright chrome finish one.
Awesome.
Sweet.
So, I mean, just from carriage bolts, when people think, well, I don't have the money for expensive hardware, I can't afford this Brusso brass or whatever it is. Those are carriage bolts, I mean, you can play around with hardware, store, 12 cents a thing,
Yep. It costs extra when you get a piece from you done that way for all the extra work.
I mean, it depends. Like the mirror one, I would charge more because they're a pain in the butt. Because all of a sudden you take those mirrored ones and you throw them in a bin because you're going to use them in like a couple days. Well, now that bin just jammed on the side of the other one. Now I got to buff that one out again.
Yep. John Cousin said hello, everybody, from Facebook, and
hey, John.
Paul Russo says hello over there on Facebook. We have Frank Snyder. Sterling Davis is watching us over on Facebook.
Sterling.
Scott Leach. Jim Paxton. All those people are over on Facebook. We appreciate y'all watching us over there. Aussie Man says, I used to darken mild steel by heating it red hot and throwing it in oil. Okay.
Yeah, that works well. I did that with my, see, now that I'm actually on my laptop camera, I could probably show this, but all of this grinding that I do on one little station.
Right
And
on.
I have my slow speed grinder here, and then I just rotate it, and then I have my high speed with my wire wheel in the back. I got a little 1-inch belt sander. But the reason I said that, heating stuff up, I didn't go cherry hot, but this is bare metal here. And I didn't use any blackener, but I just heated it up with a MAP gas torch and then threw a bunch of wax on it, let it flash off, then buffed it out. And I've never had rust on it, and that's been 3 years. So.
Cool. Because that's one of you. That's one Jim Dockery wants to know. How do you stop it from corroding after stripping and finishing it? How do you stop the corrosion?
Black oxide is a natural corrosion resistant, coat, and it's not a coating. It's you're converting the metal.
Okay.
You can coat it in a lacquer or a wax, like I'd mentioned before, especially if you're going to be using it outdoors. But no, it really doesn't rust that much. So long as your acid is somewhat fresh and you're getting a really good jet black to it. When you pull it out, it's jet black. If you pull it out and it's somewhat gray and you're not getting that dark color, either your acid has gotten too weak over time, or there's some other thing. There's something on the metal that's inhibiting the chemical from doing its business. So like that one head I dipped earlier, I already put wax on it to show what bare metal looked like. And that wax was just enough. I mean, it's not a strong acid. It won't, nuke the cat, not that I know anything about that.
Don't ask me how I know.
I got a couple of questions. KSFWG asked Russ, did you filter the vapor rust when you poured it back into the container? No, I did not. I just poured it straight back into the container and used it again and again and again, and it worked. So I didn't do that. And Chris Nealon, thank you very much. He said Harbor Freight sells the vapor rust and it's open. Okay, I'll have to check and see if ours are open here.
Can you paint the vapor rust on something, or does it have to be submerged?
No, you can paint it. That's why I was talking about. I just poured some on a Scotch-Brite cloth, and now you don't want to get it on your hands because I got it on my hands and it didn't burn me or hurt me, but I could feel it on my skin as far as it was like. How do you want to put it? You ever used lye, or have you ever used what's the stuff you clean your oven with?
Why?
Oven cleaner.
It's oven cleaner, but there's anyway. You could tell that it was actually. The only way I can say it is solidifying your skin.
No,
caustic burns are worse.
Your skin.
There you go. Liquefies. Yeah.
You want to have gloves on.
You all of a sudden you start rinsing, like, oh wow, did I get soap on my hands? And
yes.
Nope, that's liquid skin. You might want to go take care of that.
Yep. So I got some on my hand, and it did that. That's the reason I said I learned to use nitrile gloves real quick.
Liquids.
Yeah.
Jim Dockrell is asking, how do you stop it from corroding after stripping the finish off of it?
We just
Black oxide is a new coating or a new conversion that you're introducing. You replace the zinc is added so that the mild steel doesn't rust.
Okay.
And so like rust is iron oxide, right? So you get your iron molecules and your oxygen, and then boom, you get your rust. So you put the zinc on there. You can get a zinc oxide. That's a whole different thing. But you're removing the zinc coating, bringing it to mild steel. That's what the citric acid does.
Right.
Then you're protecting it with the black oxide.
Okay.
We did not know this. Jim Dockrell says they have a vapor rust gel. Well, I got to check into that you can brush on vertical surfaces. That's good.
We got some spots on my pop-up camper trailer.
That
need some work.
Yeah.
So.
Well, somebody told me in that article I read about a vapor rust, they said that they bought a old table saw, and the top was in very bad shape, and what they did was laid like a rag on the top, some rags on the top, and just took the vapor rust and poured it on the rags so it would wet the rags, and just left it for about 30 minutes. And he came back and pulled those rags off, and he said the table was like brand new.
Oh, that's not a bad idea.
Yeah.
My buddy Ty Moser at Monolocal Workshop he's restoring a 4-post planer. And I suggested the other night either vinegar or citric acid, but get some just real cheap paper towel. And he was getting the rust off those 4 posts. And I said, get some paper towel, put your chemical on there, and then stick it on there, and then wrap it in saran wrap. That way it won't even evaporate. Come back in an hour, wipe the tubes down, you'd probably be pretty good to go.
Yeah, like you're trying to get rid of cellulose or cellulite
Yeah.
on your legs. Yeah.
James Parker says he used to pick up old satellite dishes and he would get 10 to 12 carriage bolts out of them. Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of them.
There's a lot of, a friend of mine used to junk satellite dishes out of like one of those direct TV kind of places. And he goes, you'd be surprised how much decent angle iron is in one of those little brackets. He goes, look at this whole cart, you know, he's got a little push cart, and yeah, I welded that all together just off of junk satellite dish brackets. Yeah.
Works.
Hey,
Okay,
Nick, do you
so
still
Paul
do?
Russo-
Sorry, go ahead.
Paul Russo has a question. He goes, so just like putting a patina on a carbon knife blade using like whole household vinegar or mustard. So I guess he's saying you're putting a patina on those bolts just like using vinegar for a knife. Is that?
No, vinegar is acidic, but it's more of a cleaner for metal than it is a finish or a patina. Yeah, you're not going to get much blackening out of vinegar. I mean, you get a little bit of discoloration, but you'd be surprised how many people don't realize how dark mild steel is in its natural state. So
Yeah.
everyone's used to, I mean, now granted, now you're talking about a knife. That's stainless steel, and I don't dink around with a whole lot of stainless in the shop, so that's outside my wheelhouse.
Well, he was saying carbon steel.
Oh, yeah. I mean, vinegar is more of a stripping cleaning than a conversion. That's the best way I can try and describe it. I mean, look into it more. I'm definitely no expert on this stuff. It's just, this is the only way I've been blackening hardware other than, like I said, vinegar, but vinegar takes overnight, and then you run the risk of it eating into the metal. So
Yeah. And I have run into that. You put it in there and then come back in the morning because your wife got, when you woke up, your wife said you had to go to the store and get eggs and milk. So you go to the store and get eggs and milk. And while you're there getting eggs and milk, you run into an old friend and y'all stand out there in the parking lot talking for about an hour. And so when you finally make it back home and make it to that little jar that had the vinegar with all your bolts and you pour it out, your bolts that were 1/4 inch are now 1/8 inch.
I had a good friend do that with his table saw. He left a rag on there of vinegar too long and made it a little bit worse.
Yeah.
But no, it works out good. Now, granted, if it's purely cosmetic, just paint them, just squirt them with a little bit of paint. But this, I had some threaded things that need to go in. That's part of the video list that I had. I tapped the wood with like a metal tap, and I add CA glue to reinforce the threads. And so even paint is going to add just enough thickness to not make these parts work. And this is a nice durable way to do it. I mean, it's not going to chip. It's not a coating. You can throw these things up against the wall and you're not going to chip this stuff off. So it'll wear away, but yeah.
No, that's when I saw that today, I was like, wow, I did not know. I knew about the vinegar. I did not know about the citric acid, and I did not know about the gun blowing acid. What is it called?
Selenium dioxide.
Selenium. I did not know about that.
I mean, another weird one that I keep ferric chloride in my shop too, because that eats copper real well. Mm-hmm. So you can get away with a lot of cool finishes of just brushing on ferric chloride with, copper based stuff. I mean, that's how they make like one-off PCBs and stuff.
Yes. Yes.
Cool.
Long time ago in a land far, far away.
Yeah. Nick, the mad scientist.
No.
Nick, do this, Nick. Do this.
Oh, that's right. Did he lift his elbow?
Yeah, it was.
I always remembered the hairless cat was creepy.
Oh yeah. Yeah, Austin Powers.
Well, in case I forget to say it, Russ, thanks for having me on. Everybody, thanks for listening to my yapping while I, spent an hour trying to focus the webcam.
Thanks for teaching us something new.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. And I watched the video today because I wanted to ask you about that, and lo and behold, that's what you ended up going into. So it was perfect.
Yeah, because I didn't clean up from doing the video yet.
Oh, Jim Dockrell wants to know, Nick, how often do you do acid, and do you partake in any other mind-altering substances?
Jim knows me fairly well, so I think he knows the answer already.
He can neither confirm nor deny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Question to Russ: when's the let's cook? Hey, did you know I was doing cooking videos now?
I did. I watched a couple of them. I thought they were pretty good.
Thank you. I'm doing another. I'm working on another one right now. I got a little bit behind because of some things that came. Well, this dead burn COVID-19 thing we're all having to deal with, but I got a little bit behind on some stuff. So, and then last week I wasn't feeling good. Not only did I get overheated last Saturday, and then so Sunday afternoon I started with a little bit of postnasal drip, and when I woke up Monday morning, yeah, I got a sinus infection. So I'm like, I had,
Hey,
but
Russ,
now,
what you got to do is you got to do breakfast on the morning show.
yeah, yeah, do breakfast on the morning show, yeah, yeah. But the good thing about it is, when I went to the doctor, I hadn't had a sinus infection in almost 8 months. Now, I'm not saying my sinus hasn't been bothering me, but a full-blown sinus infection, it's been 8 months, and I was getting them once a month there for a while.
Russ, on your next cooking show, I'd like you to incorporate both vinegar and citric acid in one of your meals.
In one of the cooking videos. Okay. All right. So yeah, we're gonna cut out of here.
You could do it. Citric acid is just sour.
Yeah, and you're right. If you look at Kool-Aid, I think has citric acid in it.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of things that have it gives it that tangy flavor.
Mm-hmm.
It's what rots out your teeth.
Yeah.
I was trying to move my computer to match Jim's my internet.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's kind of like messing up right now. John N says, please be careful, everyone, and be safe. I'm volunteering at a hospital on the front line. Will you be safe? And thank you for your service for doing that. I'm sure they
Yeah, really, man. That's
Christina,
commitment.
Pickled eggs with vinegar, orange juice, or citric acid. Yes. And KSFWG says cooking meth with Russ. No, it's obviously I'm not a meth partaker. Yeah, if you think I do meth, and you got another thing coming, dude.
Obviously, you're not, considering you called it a meth baker, or
Yeah.
did you say maker? Oh, like you're definitely not one of those hip people. My mom was always offended when we traveled abroad that she was never offered the drugs. I'm like, Mom, you look like the most square person in the world. So.
But that's pretty well all. Luana Pierce says, thanks for a great video, Nick.
Thank you for tuning in.
Yep. The nuking the cat part. Jim, this year, you still like that, huh? Nuke the cat.
Yeah, that's when I trail off. I add some doozies.
Yeah, my wife's getting into making some masks, and we've been searching the internet, cloth masks, about the different types of filters to put in them. And I found an interesting article today. Yeah, look at his. He's 3D printed him one. Yep. And they said use shop towels in between the layers of cloth. That shop towels will actually work very, very well as a filter for it. So
Yeah, the blue ones.
yeah, the blue shop towels. Yep.
Yeah, the shop towels do work really well. Yes.
Yeah, so we're gonna experiment and try with those. I have my R. If I need to go anywhere, I'll load it up on filters before the crap hit the fan, and I have my RZ mask.
RZ.
Yep, I actually have 2 of these, so I've got like 25 or filters, so I got plenty of filters.
Order.
A filter.
Yeah, I've got one of those too.
Is this one? Will this one work?
Yes, that will.
Actually, cool.
This is how I changed diapers for how long, you know?
We used to, not trying to be well, I won't go into that, but we used to, when we would be around anything that had a real bad smell when I worked in the fire department, I think you know where I was going with that.
Yeah.
We would always take the N95 mask and put a little Vicks vapor rub
Yeah.
in the
heard
mask
that.
and then put it on so that we couldn't smell anything but Vicks.
That's a pro tip right there.
Yes. You could
That
only
will save you a lot of headaches.
it'll
and-
save you from upchucking real quick.
Yeah, that's what I was getting at. Yeah.
Yeah. But we used to put the Vicks in there. So
My wife's whole family were all firemen, so I know I've heard the stories. It's a lot of unique situations.
John N says, I'm scared to death every time I go in at the hospital. I bet you are. I would be too. Trust me. We had a Broward County police officer, 39 years old, I believe it was, pass away today from COVID-19. Yep. So he may not have passed away from the actual COVID-19, but complications surrounding the COVID-19. So it's very serious stuff, folks. If you don't need to go out into public, I can tell you right now, I'm not only time I go out is when I absolutely have to. If we need something for food purposes. Other than that, my butt's right here locked down at home. We ain't going anywhere. So
I've been seeing outbreaks with hospital staff on Facebook all day today around the country.
yeah.
So
Yeah, I'm sure it's going to get to them. I mean, they're taking care of all these patients. I don't care how careful you are. This is a virus. And you slip up just one little bit and you've got it.
Yep.
You know? So, all right, we're going to cut out of here. Thank you very much, Nick, for being on here tonight. I appreciate it.
Thanks
You're
for me. I really did it.
Yeah. Oh, we enjoyed you. And yeah, I was telling you today, a lot of people don't realize this, but yes, we've been doing this show for 6 years. This is the 6th season. I know it doesn't seem that long, but yep, 6 years. And I'm planning on doing it another few years before I retire. So I'll be coming in here with my little cane going like, good evening and welcome to Let's Talk Shop with Russ. So when I get old and gray, well, I'm already old and gray. So
I say, don't go there. Don't go there.
yeah, so, all right, there's only one thing we have to do, and that is if you're too darn busy to get out in your shop and make some sawdust, you're just too darn busy. Just give me sawdust, lots of sawdust all around me and everywhere. I like it flying all around my shop and even in my beard and hair. Good night, everybody. Thank you for watching.
Night,
And
campers.
God bless.
Hi, John.
Remember,
Night,
you do
everybody.
have to go home and you need to stay there.
I just
Can't
gotta
see you
find
either.
I gotta find a way to get over here and shut off our restream so we can talk for a few minutes.
Yep.
It
Don't
still
cut us
says
off.
still says